Last but not least at all, we have Christine and Thomas again. They don't need much introduction, but as you might know, a lot of things have been going on behind the scenes in webCRM. We are working to give the whole system a big overhaul. We call it Project WOW. And Christine and Thomas will show a little bit more about what we've been working on, what you can expect, what the system is going to look like in the near future. So take it away, both of you.
Last time we spoke a lot about integrations. We have had a huge focus and still have on integrating to other interesting systems so that we can keep doing what we do best, which is the core CRM. And then we will integrate to ERP solution, e-sign, marketing, whatever kind of solutions, which is also some of the integrations we have made. We have made Vino for market data. We would never be able to do all of the things that Vino does with custom industries and so on. They can do that because that's their focus. And then we can just harvest all the benefits by integrating to them. So that has been a major focus. But what has been and is currently also getting a lot of focus is the core of the system, because that is what we want to be good at. So of course we also want to spend time doing that better. And that is what we're going to present today.
Yes, and maybe you wondered what Project WOW means. That was actually an internal working title, but for some reason it got out, and now that is what it's officially called. We think it sounds pretty fun. And the idea is that you want to look at webCRM and say, wow, so there you go. Yeah, basically, our tagline is CRM made simple, and WOW is supporting that idea. It's simple in the way that it's easy to understand, it's easy to get to know, and it's easy to work with, but it's also easy to grow with. So it's not simple in a way where it's limited or too little. It's simple to work with, but also grow with. And we want to, put that into more of a visual focus as well. webCRM has always been simple, but it might have gotten to a point where it's more telling than showing, and now we want to show it as well a bit more. So that's what Project WOW is all about. Yeah, so some of the key elements of Project WOW is, like I said, easy to get started with, easy to grow with, and we want it to be aesthetically pleasing. We are in a modern world, and it should, of course, always be user-friendly and intuitive.
I just don't recognize the slides fully, but
okay.
I think we are missing a bit of ground, but it's okay, we will live with it. But yeah, the way we're going to do it, we're missing the headers, that's what we're missing.
That's right.
Okay, but yeah, how we will do this and implement the Project WOW will be to identify the most used features and the most impactful changes, and then take them one view at a time. So what we have started with is the sales-related views, so both the opportunities and orders, and then this list and Kanban view that you might expect from this part of the system. So that's also what we're going to show today. But from here on, we will also take the next views one at a time, where we see that here we can really improve something. That could be the customer card, that could be the start page, give activities something in the support module for those using that. A lot of things where you can get inspired by other systems or by whatever has been developing while we have been focusing on integrations, and do them. So that's the journey we are on now, and we will show you the beginning of that, and then you can expect to see that coming. This also means that for a period, some places it will look like the old webCRM and what you know, and some will be new. But we do it this way for once to get the great things faster out to you, and also not to just one day wake up to a whole new world and not being able to recognize anything, but actually to be able to learn to work with the new things, and then hopefully it will be easier and easier because you will recognize it from the places we started.
Yeah.
Can you change to this?
Yes, so this is a completely new, it's a new design, yes, but it's also a completely new element in the system. You might know it from some other CRM systems. We call it a Kanban board, but yeah, it's basically your pipeline presented as a board, right? So this is all your opportunities shown in each lane or in each level of your pipeline. You can, as expected, drag them on as soon as you feel like it moved face, and you get some information, some basic information on what's the organization, what's the revenue, and what's the number, and when is the due date. Up in the top, you get some basic charts showing relevant stuff for you. There's update on the budget for the month. So if you're working with budget, you can see how you're doing based on what you have in your pipeline compared to your budget. You can see the average order value, win percent, and then how's it going from month to month or from last month to this month. These charts might be modified going forward, but this is what it is for now. Yes, clicking here will create a new opportunity, and as you should get familiar with, you will search and it will suggest what to search for. Yeah, so this is just a quick create an opportunity, and as soon as you click, you should go to a new view as well. This should also look a bit different than what you're used to. This is the new opportunity view. What you're seeing here is the same data, but presented in a hopefully easier and more pleasing way. Here you change your contact person. That could be this guy. And you'll see the responsible next to it. What we've done is we've moved the quotation lines, which is typically the meat on an opportunity, to the front page, so that you don't have to go a level further down in order to see what is actually the thing you're trying to sell. So now you see exactly what you are trying to sell directly in the opportunity, and there's no layer down further. Up in the right area before you click there, you can follow where you are on the pipeline status, and you can easily change to a different state. Down below is all the fields that, it could be custom fields, it could be everything else that you have to fill out in a opportunity. Yes?
And what you might saw, if you were really paying attention to the details, is that now you can also change. So for some of the higher pipeline levels, typically, you can have more fields, because in some cases, you don't know already from the beginning what will their payment terms be, what should I offer them. You don't want to think about that from the beginning. But at some point before we send the opportunity, or before we win it at least, this could be mandatory fields. So now you can show them at that point. A lot of customers has asked for that. So you can actually make fields mandatory, but only from a certain level where you actually have an idea of what to fill out.
Could be you cannot win an opportunity until you actually filled in the payment terms. Just an example. So you make sure that your data is all right before you actually do send it out. Then we completely change the way you work with sending out opportunities. There's a button focused on that. From here, you do the entire template. What are you getting out to the customer? So you start by creating your PDF template. If you want to do that, it looks something like this. Then you can then you get to the next part, which is sending the email with the attachment. From here, you can add another email template if you want to. Yes. So now you have both the email letter, and then you have the attachment to that email. You will be able to upload all the files that you want directly to this as well, either from what you have standard in webCRM or from your disk, doesn't matter. You'd be able to send it on a date and time, so if you don't want to send it now, but you want to send it on midnight for some reason, you can do that. You can also send it as someone else. Yes, we'll not do that now. Yes, you can, if you click here, this is where you lose the opportunity. Before, you might have these fields, but you wouldn't be prompted. Now you're being prompted. Why did I lose? If you're using these fields, of course. But this is a way to make sure that you actually get this data into your system, so that you can do some measurements on it later on. You don't have to use it, but this is how they appear now. And the last one is, of course, when you win. And no new field appeared.
Oh, but this is also connected to the integrations, that if you have at least the newer ERP integration, then as soon as you click there and it's done, it will get to your ERP system if you use that. And you can, as a salesperson, probably just be happy that it says good job, and then somebody else will actually get in the money, and you could have more fields here displaying when is it invoiced, have they paid, and all of these things.
Yes. If you go back, you can very easily switch between the new Kanban board, if you're not interested in that view, and go to the list view that gives you a list view. That's all, it's a matter of temperament. And from here, we also change both the look and the feel and the smoothness, hopefully, of how easy you can change the filtering and what you want to see from here. For instance, you can easily update your type of organization. So now you're only seeing the opportunities that you have on what you deemed leads. And everything, all fields are available from this new here. So you can easily add the fields that you want to filter by on this particular list. So now you'll have a new field to filter by. Yeah. Also, if you click the contents button, here you can add what you want to see in just a matter of a few clicks. So the list can be expanded in information. And just to give a quick idea of what's going on, now you see there's a small number up at filtering. It's almost impossible to see from your position, I think. But if you go to a list and you're unsure if something is filtered, because this goes in once you click the button, you know for sure that this is not the entire list, because you can see there are some filters added. You don't know what the filters are until you open this. So these lists here are actually 1 second from being done for everything in webCRM. So you can expect to see the list parts that we're seeing here in your systems in the very near future. Yeah, it's going to do what you can do now and a whole lot more, and be a whole lot more flexible. So that'll be nice. Also a lot faster, but that's a more technical part. Yeah.
Yes. If we go back to the slides, we will tell a bit more about how we will, or when we will release that. And as mentioned, then this, what we showed here, the sales part of the system, as we tend to call it, that is the first thing that will be released. So first we will take these lists and actually release those for all the lists you usually know. So if you click activities, organization, or anything like that, you will see a bit of the new, which is also the layout that some of you recognize from reports where we made new and so on. So that's what's coming all over. But to release the sales part, we will do that in some different steps. We will allow customers to become beta customers on this. A lot of people have asked that. Some really want to be part of the first, and some really want to be saved for later. So that's nice, because then we can spread out when we get people on the new one, and we can support you even better. So you will actually tomorrow get an email where, if you think this could be really nice to try out and touch with the fingers and so on, then you can become a beta customer and get on this and see the new right from the start. And also maybe be part of saying what should be better. Are there some of the things you do that we have not thought about in the new one? Because of course, I think with all the customers we have, there are so many different use cases that no matter how hard we try, we will not think of all of them. So therefore, we also would like some input, and this is a way to do that. Then, after the beta release and probably getting some input, we will release it for most customers in some chunks, so that not everybody goes on at the same minute and might have to call the support or are just confused about what is happening, but in some chunks. And what we will then save for last is some more advanced customers, because during all the time webCRM has existed, a lot of features has been developed, and some of them are only used by very specific customers. So all of these we are going to reassess and see, is this really the best way to do this? Or has it maybe been replaced with something else we can do now, or whatever? So there will be some features that are more advanced that we will go through. Some of them we will implement the same way, some of them we will implement in new ways, some of them we will take a dialogue with each customer using it, seeing if we can together improve their way of using it. So they will be saved for later, because we need these discussions and the features are simply not developed yet. Then when we are releasing, we are also working closely with the support department to make documentation and send out information. So we will both send out newsletters so you know what is coming. Nadja has made some videos about the small things we have released, and we will also be doing that about these larger things, so you can see it before you actually get it. And then you will get these guides that you maybe have seen in the system already, that you can click away if you don't want them, but if you want, it will guide you on saying something new is happening on this page. If you want to know what, then follow this, and it will guide you around on if a feature has moved, or if there's something you can now do in a new way, or maybe just an improvement that, did you even know you could do this? So we will also use them. And then we have the support that you can call or write to, that are ready to help. And then, as mentioned before, the other entities will come one by one. Sometimes it will be a whole entity like now. Sometimes it will just be smaller features. We implemented the search that you saw on the Vino thing that has been asked for by many customers and was an add-in, so we added that. And for these things where we change places, we will inform a lot more. Yeah, and the new lists will be next.
Yeah, and we've identified the, what should we say, missing features which currently exist in webCRM. So we know exactly what who is not going to be able to use this for now, and we'll identify who uses these features and contact you based on your behavior, so that we know exactly why you use this feature that we haven't implemented yet. So hopefully we can improve it or change it or use it exactly as it is, but in the new design. Yeah, but that'll what those features are will be, that was what I wanted to say as well, what those features are will be presented in the newsletter that you'll get tomorrow, so you know for sure.
Yeah. Even though we only have 1 minute, we fortunately have more new things to show, so we'll sorry, but
we'll develop less.
Yeah. Can we change to the computer again? So you have made a new editor?
Yes, so one of the cool things about being part of FSC, besides all the other cool things, is that we get things for free. And one of the things we got for free is this new marketing editor, which is a bit more modern, I dare say, than the current one we have. Yeah, it'll look like something from a actual marketing tool. And what you can do here is you can build templates based on drag and drop and features that you would expect from a modern template tool editor. Yeah, and probably some are wondering, over here we have some guys called Apsis who does sort of this, but yeah, this is not an Apsis competitor, because it doesn't do anything than build the newsletter. It doesn't do segmentation. It doesn't do automation. So this is just a cool feature you get in your webCRM system when you want to build newsletters, but it has nothing to do with Apsis. So Apsis will, of course, also be one of the cool new things you get from being part of FEC, but as an addition to or an integration to webCRM later on.
Yeah. And also it will still be relevant, of course, to have and send emails from webCRM, whether it's because you're not ready for all the smart stuff and still want to send newsletters, but also because if you do all the smart stuff and make a lot of nice templates in Apsis, it's a shame to go into webCRM and then send your quotes in a really blunt layout just saying, hi, this is a PDF. So now you're able to also make something nice here so that you can still have this one visual image even though you use a really nice marketing tool and also have to send emails from webCRM. So for us, it makes a lot of sense still to do nice stuff, and we really encourage you to go in and play with it if you can convince your boss that it's good to use time on that. But this will be released in the system on Monday,
Okay.
so you can look forward to that and go in and play with it. We will also still have like an old or like a more standard what you see is what you get editor, which is these where you can basically just write and paste an image and so on. We will unify that so we only have one, because now when you are different places in webCRM, you might see different things. So there will be just this one, and then one you will see when you send out emails, or if you just have to make a really standard template that doesn't have to include all of these nice things.
Both, which will be in the system from Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. And back to slides, because we have one last slide.
Yes. This is a little further down the road, but it's not that far down the road. Or I mean, it's not that far away. We're building a new dashboard in webCRM. As you've seen, we've changed the way we do charts and overviews and so on, and we haven't replaced the way you do dashboards, but that's coming. And what we've done is that we based it on Power BI, which some of you might have heard of. So it's not the full Power BI suite, but it's a standardized amount of the most required or most requested measurements or dashboards that we hear from you customers. This is actually implemented technically, but not visually. So we're quite far, but we're working on the visual side of it, and at some point you will get an extra tab or an additional tab in your system that contains these dashboards. We provide the dashboards, so that means that we decided what they look like, what they contain, and so on. Those will develop in time or evolve in time based on your requests and desires and wishes and so on, but there's a limit. But we have to find a balance where we strike, hopefully, a good balance. If you need to do more advanced stuff, there are options, but it's going to be from either a custom BI build, which is not as close as this, or something like Click or another BI tool. But that'll be much more custom and not this feature. Yeah.
Yes, I think that is it. And even though we are 4 minutes over time, if you have one or two questions, we can take it so that it's not